Hey y'all, it's Jed Wonderly coming at you with the Utah Sports Report, and not a bad game. Not a bad game. Let's kind of review what Utah did against San Diego State. Take a look at a bunch of their great highlights that they had when they did start playing worth a darn. But now, first of all, let's take a look at these highlights you're probably already familiar with, and we'll see you on the other side.
For a first down. Nice. That's the shot I'm talking about. There it is. Over the middle. It's caught. Touchdown. Devon Valet. That's beautiful, man.
I get Carlson a touch on the block. Carlson from deep, and we're tied.
Got the win. This is a victory lap of sorts for the super senior.
Ginormous double lamp.
Okay, we are back, and yes, Utah did, I wanted to say very well, and they did do very well for maybe like the last half of the second quarter and the first, 10 minutes or so of the third quarter. And then they took their foot off the gas because they were up 35-0, which is great. But, I wanted the 40s. I think we could have easily done it. And thanks to a turnover on a muffed catch on a punt, we gave it to San Diego State, deep in our territory. And so they finally got up a touchdown or got a touchdown. They were never up. But they got a touchdown in the fourth quarter. So really stagnant first quarter. I don't know if you guys remember this, but last year there was a string of 6 or 7 games. I think some of you are going to be shaking your head when I say this. String of about 6 or 7 games when Utah would get the ball first and they scored on their first drive. In fact, they started doing it so much that instead of electing to, kick off when they won the toss, which is what they've normally done for years and years and years, they were getting so potent on their offense and so good at scoring on the first drive that they even started electing to receive, which is crazy. But what in the heck happened to that? A lot of the same bunch of guys, and we're just having some issues. In this case, in Whittingham's, interview definitely on Monday, and I think he talked a little bit about it on Saturday after the game. He talked about, first of all, he noted after the game that this wasn't anything they didn't expect. They had seen all this on film. But, Cam talked about how there was a lot of movement and a lot of little things that they were doing that kind of, threw them out of sync. And really, I think it was mostly the offensive line who wasn't identifying who their defender was that they were going to block. And so it took us a while to get on track, and we finally did, again, about midway through the second quarter. Whittingham was obviously a little disappointed, and in his interview today, he did talk about how they've identified some things and they're making some adjustments, and so hopefully our offense will come out strong right out of the gate. Now, again, first of all, some of the stuff I'm going to talk about, we got to remember it's San Diego State, who's usually a pretty good G5 team. But they're definitely down this year. Okay, so here's one of those things. They were the 4th ranked team in the country as far as rushing yardage was concerned. Again, they played Arizona, who did a pretty good job of stopping them. I can't remember who they played in the second game. I should have refreshed my memory, but not a very good team. Who was it? Whoever it was, they won 38-7. I remember that. I'm a numbers guy. They won 38-7, and they racked up 350 some odd yards or something along those lines. So they were at the fourth highest team in terms of rushing yard average per game. Our defense, we're wrapping up. I can't wait to see us against a really good team like a UCLA who struggled against not a really good team. I'm not saying they're a bad team, but they struggled at home and they won 32-31, but they won, so that's good. And they have a good running back and a good quarterback, and so hopefully we'll be able to wrap up and get pressure on them. Oregon State could pose some interesting challenges to us because they're 3-0, and I think they're definitely expanding on what they started last year. And then, of course, we have a big test on the 15th of October against USC. So it'll be interesting to see how our defense does. Hopefully, we're all relatively healthy, and we continue to improve each week. Cole Bishop, in his interview after the game, did talk a lot about how they've really focused on some things that were deficient, obviously, in the Florida game, and he feels like they've improved every week, regardless of the level of competition. And so we'll see. We'll see if everything that they're doing is true improvement, or if it's just because of the level of competition. But nonetheless, plenty of great highlights. You had Dalton Kincaid with hurdle number 2 on the season. This one wasn't quite as clean. I think the defender kind of stood up on him as he was getting jumped over and did make some contact with Dalton, and so got him down, but still a very athletic move by Dalton. He's fun to watch. Man, we got to hand it to Cam. He had 4 touchdown passes. That's the most he's had in one game here at Utah, or in his college career for that matter, since he didn't play when he was at Texas before he transferred. So let's see. Beautiful 30-yard touchdown strike, excuse me, to Brant Keithy. Gorgeous pass. It was a little reminiscent of Bryson Barnes' touchdown pass to Thomas Yasmin. In fact, very reminiscent, since that pass was 29 yards, Keithy's was 30. Relatively similar patterns. I think Yasmin's was a post coming from the right side, and I can't remember whether Keithy's came from the right side or if it was kind of more of a straight. I think he definitely had some kind of like maybe a skinny post. Anyway, that was a great play. Beautiful pass, just right on the money. I think Keithy was coming from the left side. He lines up on the left side quite a bit. And then there was I'm so happy for Solomon Enos. He showed up and did very well. He always shows up. He's a team player. He always shows up and does some great blocking for the run game. But he got 3 opportunities and made the most of every one of them today. I think he ended up with 35 yards on his 3 catches, and he had a number of those where, one of them he got some good yardage after the catch, some yak. Baby, way to go, Solo. And then not too long after that, he had a beautiful touchdown pass. He's very reliable, and he's, like I say, he's a consummate team player. And then Devon Villay. That dude's a stud, especially when it comes to making some acrobatic, large catch radius kind of plays. He made a fantastic play in the left corner of the end zone, the front corner, where he got his foot down and it was a touchdown. Oddly enough, the ref, after review, they say the play stands. You could see, without question, his foot touched the ground. It absolutely touched the ground, and there was no question about it. It should have been confirmed. But anyway, so there was that. And then he had another play going the opposite way in the end zone where he made a beautiful catch, jumping up over a dude to get the ball, and fantastic play. Cam did have a pass that, they talk about his arm strength and it's all the way back and it's a lot stronger than last year and everything, and I want to believe that. So if that's true, then he was just late on the throw to Money Parks. He had Money Parks. Money Parks had beat his man by a step or two. There was definitely separation, and the ball just arrived a little late, so Money had to kind of pull up a little bit, and that gave the defender time to make up that ground, and he was able to get a hand in there and make that play to keep Money from the reception. That would have been a beautiful play. If he would have hit Money in stride, I think it's a touchdown. And that would have been, the biggest, I believe, the biggest play from scrimmage, and certainly the biggest touchdown from scrimmage this season. So there's that. Bad news. Here's a young man that I was really getting behind. I really liked some of the things he was saying. He made a quote last week in an interview. When I can't remember what the question was, but this young man said, I almost started to cry when I saw Jalen Glover get his first touchdown. He's a Florida boy. And Chris Curry had a bad ankle injury, and Coach Witt announced that he is out for the season, but he does have at least one more year of eligibility left, so they expect him back next year. He was really working hard. He had a very solid game against SUU. He had a few good runs against Florida. And I believe the run that he got injured on, he only had one run against San Diego State. It was an 8-yard run, but he had an ankle injury on the other foot from the ankle injury that he had when he was in high school, and apparently it's the same or similar kind of injury as that. So unfortunately, we lost Curry for the season. It'll be interesting to see who they have fill in. Hopefully that means that my guy that I'm rooting for is Jalen Glover. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Mekhi Bernard. I think he should play a lot more. I think he should be a much more integral part of the offense. Also, I do like Tavion. Nothing against Tavion. I really like Tavion. Fantastic year last year. It seemed a little off on Saturday, but come to find out that his aunt that basically raised him passed away earlier that week, and so I could see, anybody being affected by somebody who raised you and was a parental figure and whatnot. I can see that throwing you a little off. He still had a nice 18-yard touchdown run, but I think Glover is going to, really shine once he gets an opportunity to get a regular dose of carries. But as far as the fourth back, is it going to be Ricky Parks or Charlie Vincent? Coach Witt basically said it's going to be whoever handles practice the best, at least for this week. And maybe it's an ongoing competition unless one just kind of really separates themselves from the other. So there's that. Who else? Who else had some good game? A good game. Mekhi did Mekhi things. He had some good plays. Our defense, of course, did some great things as well. They held San Diego State to 173 yards. That's 60 yards through the air and 113 yards rushing, when I believe they were averaging upper 200s or something along those lines per game. So we really shut them down, held them to 9 first downs. Go D. I think Clark Phillips, I think he got a little banged up in the game and had to sit out the rest of the game. So we saw Zemiah Vaughn, who made a really nice play on a ball. Malone Mataele made some good plays. Cole Bishop, one of my favorites on defense, that sophomore, led the team in tackles with 9. Dude's just a smart kid and a great strong safety. Other than that, nothing to write home about on special teams, especially the fumble on the punt that led to them scoring their touchdown. So let me leave you with maybe a couple more highlights here. Enjoy them, and then I'll be back probably Wednesday. And it'll either be posted Wednesday or Thursday morning, hopefully, one of those. Hopefully Wednesday, though, with my game preview, I should say, of the Arizona State game. And in case you hadn't heard, Arizona State's head coach, Herm Edwards, fired today. Didn't like the guy at all. I think he was... he just did he'll say he didn't do it. He didn't know about it. But you're the head coach, dude. You're responsible for everything, so you better know what's going on in your program. They're under investigation for some pretty, bad stuff, including in-person recruiting and in-person visits, on campus and whatnot during COVID when it was strictly forbidden. So he was finally fired, and it'll be interesting to see how we do against them. I fully expect, based on what I've seen so far, that we'll win that pretty handily. But we'll go into some more details in a couple of days on that. In the meantime, you guys make it a great couple of days until I see you next. Also, please like and subscribe. If you get this far, please like and subscribe. I wish I would have remembered to say it earlier. I meant to. So the 4 of you that might still be watching, tell your friends about it. Because if you're still watching now, you're probably already subscribed. So tell all your Utah friends that come and watch this old guy talk a little bit about Utah sports, including basketball and gymnastics when they're in season. But for now, if by chance you've watched this far and you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button down there, because why not? You made it this far. Be a part of the team. Let's go. We all want to just get as much Utah content as we can, and I'm going to give it to you. So for now, appreciate you watching, and go Utes.